Welcome to Beyond the Check, the first industry podcast related to Web3 fund investments brought to by Block Sapiens, a leader in fund of funds and venture capital investments. We bring you exclusive interviews with industry experts in private equity, investment banking, business sales, and startup founders. It's our mission to provide clarity to the industry and lift the boundaries of tech investments. In this episode, our host Gautier Pons, De Vincent Managing Partner at Block Sapiens. We will deep dive into the venture capital landscape in the UAE and a new ecosystem approach. We welcome our guest, Juliet Su, founding partner at Newtribe Capital, one of the leading Web3 VC funds in the UAE.
Hey Juliet, how are you?
Oh, good. Thanks for inviting me.
No worries. I mean, thank you for taking the time. I know it's very difficult with with all the events happening. Obviously, GITEX last week, biggest tech conference in the Middle East. Very difficult to take the time. But yeah, thank you so much for coming. You've been like much longer time than me in the UAE, right? I mean, we've been here like for around 2 years. Know each other now than several months. Obviously, you had like a background before crypto, like most of the people in crypto.
Yeah.
I know that you lived in China, right?
Yeah, I did.
You lived in China, right?
I can elaborate a bit on that because I believe I've got quite an interesting background. So yeah, I started to learn Chinese back to 2001, and I managed to get master degree in Chinese philology. That's basically great. How the story started for me with China. And after that, of course, I relocated to Beijing. I continued my study there. And after that, I started my career in some big Chinese corporates as a C-level manager. So I've got a proper 15 years of the corporate career in China, working for some big Chinese guys. It was quite fascinating, I might say. So then now people ask me like,
very different
crypto,
in crypto.
In crypto we are working 24/7. I'm like, guys, sorry, I'm having fun in crypto, because then I come back to that bureaucracy in China, then it's another story.
Yeah,
but
that's for sure.
It was a great experience for me. And of course, like I used to work mainly with Chinese people and Chinese language. And then back to 2017, my friend told me about Bitcoin. So that's how the story started. And I wanted to take the challenge and to help him to find some right partners in China. And then I did lots of things, actually. I organized events globally. It was World Economic Forum. It was Singapore. I've got my media company in China. I did lots of advisory things. So basically also deal with Chinese market. And like back to 2020, after pandemic, because China closed the border. And so by some good fate, I came to Dubai. And there was the time that I met my current fund partners. We realized we have some complementary skills. And that's the way we decided to start Newtribe Capital.
Right. So back to 2020, right?
Yeah, we started here in Dubai back to 2020, and we have quite an international team. So as I usually say, within the team, we speak like Hindi, English, Chinese, Russian, Spanish. Right,
the image of Dubai, right? I mean, it's
Exactly. That's why for us, Dubai, it's a good place to stay. But it was challenging because back to the days, 2020, then I started to reach out to projects that we wanted to invest, and then we told them like, oh, we are based in Dubai. So people got skeptical because they felt like, are you sure? Like, is it okay? Because that time, nobody considered like a treated Dubai seriously.
Which was only 3 years ago. I mean, it's like it's not a long time ago, right? And the that's why also like I think it's I mean nowadays we hear a lot about Dubai. Everyone talks about investments mostly. When I speak with people and I say I'm in Dubai, they say okay, there's financial hub or investments happening there. But like I think it's. Like we don't really know if actually like how big is the the investment landscape here in the UAE. So it's hard. There's a lot of venture capital, not only crypto, emerging tech in general. Obviously, Newtribe is one of the biggest one in crypto, and but we don't really know how big is the investment landscape.
I can tell you where the confusion comes from, because I've been asked like multiple times the same question, and what I say, like, it's really hard to identify that investment landscape, because there are multiple VCs. Because I remember then I came to Dubai and then I started, there were like just a few VCs, like Web3 funds based out of here. It was Woodstock, it was Newtribe Capital, the local Emiratis guys.
And Woodstock was so is Dubai, or is
because they have like a entity. They had and they still have the office here. So and that's the way we started, like, right? And right now I can can easily count you like 20 or 30 VCs based out of Dubai.
That's
and it's okay. So the ecosystem, even VC ecosystem, is growing. But that usually means that the company has the entity set up somewhere in the UAE. I can't say even Dubai, but somewhere in the UAE. And people come here. It's not necessarily that they have they live here constantly, right? It's number one. Number two, the confusion comes from the fact that there are multiple Web2 funds or even sovereign wealth funds who might invest in Web3. And of course, Web3 is not their initial, investment scope. So, but sometimes if they find something interesting in the market, in the Web3 space, they can go and invest in Web3 space.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously it's not only venture capital. There's family offices that are interested. Venture capital, you guys obviously you have the chance and to have teams that are dedicated to a specific industry. That's why you invest most of the time in specific thesis compared to like a family office or sovereign wealth funds. People generally don't understand that, like why family offices are not so active in crypto. It's because they don't necessarily have a team of people that understand the technology behind.
Exactly.
Right. And but I mean, still very coming back, on Dubai, and you mentioned that from 2020 to now things have grown a lot. I'm still very curious to hear why. I mean, why people are deciding Dubai over something else. Dubai is very known internationally and a lot in Occident as a big PR, right? So it's people are very skeptical most of the time. Really want to understand why did you guys choose Dubai in the first place?
No, for me, I've got no choice basically at that time because everything was closed after pandemic, right? So for me, it was the good escape, and I've got a few meetings with people from all over the world. So Dubai was a good option. So that it's the same basically that I started to learn Chinese in 2001. People looked at me like I'm crazy because it was some undeveloped country. So the same way that I said that I'm VC based out of Dubai, people were skeptical.
You're a first
now
comer.
They look at me and say why? Wow, you're good enough because you speak Mandarin over 20 years. You're good enough because you're based in Dubai for that long. So I did believe in the potential of growth in the region itself, even from that time. And but then people ask me what attracts the Web3 community to Dubai? There are actually few major factors. First of all, it's of course the regulatory landscape here. Like a few days back, out of curiosity, I opened the UAE government website. And then you can see multiple strategies there, official strategies by UAE government. And one of the strategy, it's a metaverse strategy. Metaverse strategy, it aims to bring 1,000 metaverse and blockchain companies to Dubai. Right? Then you can see the blockchain company strategy. So blockchain strategy is about bringing blockchain technology and to provide the mass adoption to this blockchain technology in Dubai. And then we can see UAE AI strategy. So of course UAE aim to be number one in terms of the AI globally. So it comes from the government. You can even see the CBDC of Dirham, so placed over there. It's a part of the digital strategy of the UAE government. So based on these parts, of course, government supports any type of initiative regarding blockchain, AI, and metaverse.
And it's very interesting. I mean, what you're saying, and actually we saw that right after COVID. People were very surprised, Dubai trying to build metaverses. How are you going to do that? What's I mean, for obviously there's all these this plan and this strategy being put in place. You mentioned CBDCs, but do you have any example of of application, whether it's in the private sector or public sector, of blockchain, for example?
No, I can't dive deep, but basically
Yeah.
it's based on mBridge, and you might know there is an initiative for international transactions. So basically the initiative was taken by a few Singaporean bank and Hong Kong
Okay.
bank and the Central Bank of the UAE, or it's like
Okay.
so some
Okay.
banks here. So to provide the international transactions based on blockchain. So it's called
Okay.
mBridge. And then of course like CBDC, the local CBDC is supposed to be a part of that bridge, right?
Okay.
So, but apart from that, you can see that the blockchain technology is being integrated here. The very good example, then you buy apartment in Dubai, you've got this document which is called like title deed.
Yeah.
And a few days back, my friend showed me his title deed. Then he bought the apartment here, and it was written, you don't need to print this document because the data is securely stored on blockchain.
Okay, so they actually apply it at the government level.
Yes, of
All
course.
right. Okay. I actually didn't know about that. I mean, I know obviously the real estate industry is booming here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I'm talking with people that are in real estate, and but I'm sure that you need to find a way to streamline all of these, and and secure, whether it's secure transaction or even like what belongs to whom, on the real estate side.
Yeah.
But I didn't know actually they were applying that. And is it like with the? Do you know if it's with the specific blockchain or specific partners or?
I have no idea. We have like multiple free zones, which are super crypto friendly.
Yeah.
So of course, the initiative started from DMCC.
Yeah.
And then right now we support DIFC, Web3 and AI Campus. It's upcoming 10,000 square meters like building, and aims to bring over 500 Web3 and AI startups up there.
Yeah.
And they launched the accelerator. So basically, also bringing more Web3 and AI startups in DIFC. So at the same time, last week you attended as well.
Yeah. RAGDAO. Yeah. I mean, that's why I wanted to ask you, because we talk about Dubai a lot, but I mean, there's also obviously Abu Dhabi that is at the center of. I mean, no one talks about it because it's very low key compared to Dubai, but like there's a lot of things happening also in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
I know there are exchanges being set up there. I don't remember the names of them, but like I used to be going around in Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah, maybe other Emirates. What do you think is until where would it go?
Abu Dhabi is the capital. In Abu Dhabi, they have ADGM, which is Abu Dhabi Global Market. It's also the free zone, but they are the major financial regulator. So if you run any financial activities as of exchange, probably wallet, and you want to have the proper financial operations license, of course, like the only way to do it is through ADGM. It's the major one, right?
All right.
So we have Vara here in Dubai. But basically most of the people, they start from Abu Dhabi. And but also we have Ras Al Khaimah. Ras Al Khaimah, it's just launched the world first free zone, and it's called RAGDAO, Ras Al Khaimah Digital Assets Oasis.
Right.
And it's supposed to be exactly the world first digital assets, AI, and Web3 free zone.
So it's not DAO like a decentralized organization, right? It's really like the regulation.
No, but there are major plans for these free zone development, some kind of new regulations for some specific activities in blockchain to be announced very soon. I can't elaborate a lot on that, but that's quite fascinating. So,
and Ras Al Khaimah is not also like a place that you usually, when you come to the UAE, I'm sure like a lot of listeners will not necessarily know Ras Al Khaimah. We know it because it's 1 hour and a half from here, right?
So basically the same as Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, the same as Abu Dhabi.
Just different direction.
Right, but on the other side, Ras Al Khaimah is not so. Obviously, there are some hotels there. People go there. There's a plan of doing the first casinos, right, in the Middle East.
There is the casino is being built, and it's supposed to be open in 2024, as I remember.
All right, yeah, okay. So I mean,
it's
that's
going to be the gaming. So Ras Al Khaimah is divided into the few zones. So casino, it's the gaming zone, and but RAGDAO, it's a crypto free zone. It's a different zone, right? So, but they plan to build the whole crypto city up there. And also
a crypto city.
Yeah.
So like okay, all right. So it's a bit more, even more elaborated than what's
so
happening here.
it's absolutely focused on Web3 projects as well.
And all invested from the government, maybe a sovereign wealth funds.
Yes, they have sovereign wealth funds. So the government like a super support this initiative. So that's basically the main reason why so many people are coming to the UAE.
Yeah.
Not only because the very good regulatory landscape, but because the government, it's only in Dubai or in UAE, you can facilitate the proper dialogue with the regulators.
Yeah. And it's just only words, it's actually
you can come like and say, I'm a founder of this project and I want to integrate this technology, and the government will be happy to listen to you, to any proposal. So the government is open to any kind of initiatives within Web3, AI, and like metaverse space, let's say so in general. But of course we are in Web3 and it's good for us.
No, for sure. And now, I mean, I understood before, but I better understand why. And you mentioned a lot metaverse. I mean, now it's a word that people are trying to avoid, even though like it's something that's going to happen. But like, I think also crypto-wise, only the UAE is actually doing stuff. There are other countries, but really applying stuff. UAE is very active, but on the metaverse side, there is no country, I think, that are actually applying that, and that really shows the visionary, the vision of like of the UAE. I know I have a good friend, Sam from Land Vault. Like he's been building this company out of the UK, and recently moved to Dubai, like not less than a year ago, because he was telling me I'm really like I'm feeling understood here, and I can actually build what I'm trying to build. And so I feel that this is the big difference with other countries.
Sandbox is actively developing.
Sandbox as well. Well, the French as well. I mean, that's Sandbox as well, very active as well in Dubai.
I met Sebastian actually a few weeks back. So and we just discussed like how many options for him existing here in the UAE. And because metaverse, like it's something like everyone is supporting here.
I mean, like we actually have, I don't know, but it's strangely like there is a lot of metaverse and gaming company in France. I mean, I'm originally from there, so I can speak about it, and like the actually in France we are pro. I wouldn't say we're pro crypto, but there's nothing against it. Actually, the ecosystem is developing, but obviously it's not at the same size. It's not the same. We were in ETC. I don't know if you were in ETC this summer.
No, I've been there last year.
You were there last year. I was there, and I was very amazed by the quality and the amount of people there. But I don't think you can compare with what's happening here. I will always protect my country on a lot of points, but on this side, on innovation, I think UAE is the place. One thing also I wanted to obviously touch base on is, so we talk a lot about companies, funds, startups moving to the UAE because they're finding convenience, whether it's on the regulation side, but also
there's actually another interesting factor, because here in the UAE they always have the ecosystem approach. So I mean ecosystem approach in the sense that you provide first of all the infrastructure. So infrastructure means the physical infrastructure. So there is a very interesting hub approach. Everyone tries to build some hub here.
Hub 71, for example.
Hub 71, exactly, in Abu Dhabi. So what does it mean? Hub is the place where you can find some like-minded people, and you can facilitate some partnership and collaboration, and you feel the same vibe, and you feel the energy. So this ecosystem approach and the hub vision helps UAE in general involve so many interesting players within the Web3 space. The same like DIFC Innovation Hub. Multiple events are happening there almost every day, right? So people are doing demo day. Lots of people, there are like some educational classes being proceeded up there. So, and then people understand the value because like for me, for everyone, just to set up the company, and especially if you operate in Web3, it means nothing. You want community, you want to network. You need to collaborate with somebody. You don't want to stay isolated in your own office.
Yeah.
So that's why these co-working spaces, the hub vision is so popular. That's why I see like people come here, they have the physical infrastructure, all these like newly built places like with multiple restaurants, with all these like facilities, lots of events happening. Then they have the community, and then they have the regulations, and then they have the proper collaboration with the either traditional like Web2 players or some institutional players who also are willing to integrate technology. And then of course you've got the very good regulatory landscape, which allows you to set up the company and operate here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of also the reason we decided to come back here as Block Sapiens, because I felt it's, to be honest, at the beginning a bit less, because I was not necessarily working in the crypto industry. Even though now we touch different subjects now in crypto, but we really feel this sense of like family and ecosystem that is very interesting. When we have people coming from abroad, we're feeling like, okay, guys, welcome.
Exactly. You also feel it's like a big family, right?
Yeah. So and it sounds actually it's a big country. It's not a big country, but it's I think economically for sure the UAE will have an impact. But it's still very small. We know each other. I mean,
it's like a big family. It's like once you are considered to be a part of this ecosystem, you're good enough. So, and it's easy to operate within this ecosystem. So.
Yeah, I think I also like, so the question I wanted to touch base on was on the ecosystem. So we talk a lot about companies moving here. What about the startups emerging from the UAE? I think it's important to touch it because it's a question that has been coming again and again. What are the, like, do you see, do you have any examples? And also, do you see any ecosystem? I know there's like Crypto Oasis that is very active. Obviously, Newtribe as a fund, you guys are very active as well. How do you see the ecosystem growing here?
No, for us, like as Newtribe, right? So you correctly mentioned like Crypto Oasis, they were the first to initiate this ecosystem approach and decided to build the community around, right? So ours, like us from Newtribe Capital, so as I mentioned, we are strategic partners of Ras Al Khaimah Digital Assets Oasis. We have like an ecosystem partner. We support the IFC as well, and because for us it's basically the main goal is to help the projects we invest in to get into Dubai and to operate in Dubai, right? So we would love to be this proper gateway into the UAE ecosystem, and we would love to help them to navigate here, because even right now, I believe some people come here and they just, they don't know where to go, who to talk with, where to set up the companies, what are the benefits of setting up a company here, which license do they need to receive.
And only in crypto, by the way, in general.
But in crypto, it happens then people say, we can't open the bank account because, for example, you didn't know what license to receive, and then you receive the license which doesn't match the specific the nature of your operations. So that's why like nobody will open the bank account, because they see one thing on your website and another thing in your license, right? So that's why we've been collaborating with a few like traditional VCs because they want to integrate Web3 technology in their traditional investments. So that's what happened.
So traditional VCs that you're
yes. So, but it's all just to be supportive and the proper like valuable investor and strategic investor for all those projects we invest in. So it's just and even last week I organized like our event, Newtribe Gathering. So which was great. Thank you. So I helped to organize this Ragdoll initiative, like a Ragdoll lunch event. So it's all just just to help people. There is no like financial goal. There is nothing, because once you decided that you love the space, you would love to continue to develop your business here. Of course, you would love to be a small piece of the rapidly growing ecosystem. That's it. And if you can contribute at least a very bit, it's good.
No, for that's for sure. But on the side of like of startups, I was mentioning, let's say founders from here. I know they are.
I can give you an example.
Yeah.
So one project we are thinking to invest.
Okay.
It's called MISO.
Okay.
So it's decentralized streaming platform.
Okay.
Founders are Emiratis.
Okay.
And it's been invested by quite a few local family offices and funds like Gulf Capital support it as well. And they have lots of users already. And I believe this project will perform very well. That's a good example of the projects based out of the UAE. But if it comes to the local project, of course, then another complication.
Okay.
The complication is that, even I checked Crypto Oasis' recent report as well. So they also mentioned if you like local project. But if you go through the list of these projects that are not local projects, but those who just relocated to Dubai because they do the operation and then they do their business here in Dubai.
Yeah, that's why I want to come. It's like, do we have? I mean, I know we have some locals that are starting, getting into crypto, and obviously you mentioned the families that are investing as well. And I think principally in the UAE, what families or the government wants to see is obviously locals building businesses, but also implementation. Not just come, like you said at the beginning, not just come, build the entity, and then go away and then not doing anything for the country itself, the development of the country. I feel that's the big issue, and I think that's what locals are trying to build.
But isn't it what we are here for?
Yeah.
Because I believe, people think about the next bull run in the sense that the Web3 technology will get the proper mass adoption.
Yes.
And the way to get the proper mass adoption is to have the proper business development within the Web2 space, within the traditional businesses, or make people to use what you've been building, right?
Yeah.
So.
And actually, it's a great playground, I would say, to because it's not such an old country. Like for example, we will have in Europe old countries where you have very rough regulations and hard to move things. While here, like you said, pretty easy. And I think that's why also people are deciding to stay here and make things.
No, but what I usually suggest to projects when you're on the growing stage, like fundraising stage,
yes,
right? Then you're
which we
quite
see
early.
a lot.
So you can develop your project anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And because of course, like everyone knows, it's quite costly to stay in Dubai.
Yeah,
so
that's for
once
sure.
you finish the product building and you're going to the growth stage and go to market, and the whole business grows. So that's of course like Dubai is exactly the place for you to stay. Because here you can get some partners, you can just get into the community, you can communicate and collaborate with multiple players, either from the traditional space or from Web3 space. Depends on what you need. So we even we collaborate with the Indian let's say ecosystems or projects because we believe India and UAE have the magic collaboration points that projects could be developed in India and then they can come to the growth stage in the UAE.
I mean, there are a lot of Indians that are there's obviously as part of the population in the UAE. I think it's something I don't want to say some wrong numbers, but it's something like 10% of locals, 10% of expats. We say that's counting us, and then 80% of Asians, so including Filipinos, Indian, Pakistan, and that's a huge part of chunk of the. Well, maybe there are different numbers, but for sure there's a huge chunk of Asians, including Indian and Pakistan. Obviously, there's the labor side of things, but there is all those builders. We see a lot of Indians. And we've seen it a lot, but I think there's India, but also I think the UAE are very tightly connected to the APAC region. That's why we decided actually to be a lot here in APAC, because they are a bit like cousins, and I feel like they're trying to not go against the US, but like obviously the US has always been the mass markets, but right now we see things shifting. I don't want to go politically, but there's you've seen the BRICS that obviously engage with the UAE to get them inside the cooperation. So yeah, I think we see this shift, and even Americans are seeing it.
Everyone is like, and of course, even lots of people from the US, they are coming to Dubai and they are exploring this as might be the new base for them.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to the regulatory uncertainty in the US, here everything is more or less transparent in terms of the running Web3 business.
Yeah, it's difficult actually. I was in a consensus last May, and the discussion we had, a lot of people were curious, and to understand, and that's why also we're trying to build a voice for people, not necessarily only investments, but just people also in the UAE. I think it's important. But yeah, I mean, I think. Obviously, for Dubai, I think people start understanding. Just coming back to Newtribe, as a fund, obviously you're one of the founding partner. You have definitely a vision for the funds. I mean, I know all your colleagues, and you guys are a great team. I think it's been great to see you since last year. But what is, at the end of the day, what is your? You mentioned that what you're trying to provide for projects, but outside of that, what is the long-term vision for the funds, and what's your goal? What are you trying to achieve for the industry, and so not necessarily only Dubai, but just as a whole?
No, as a whole, I believe in the power of technology. I believe that Web3 technology is the future.
Yeah.
And like in a few years, we will see more people are using that on a daily basis. The same way as I told you the example with Title Deed, which is on blockchain, right?
Right, yeah. Very simple example.
Basically, what people are struggling right now, it's to have the major inflow of Web2 customer, which is basically a retail market.
Yes.
Or the institutional players.
Yes.
Right? So that's why then it comes to the investment, our strategy as a fund is to find and to support those types of projects which could generate with like users inflow, either from the retail side of the thing or from the institutional side of the things. And then usually we discuss like why traditional companies, they are not using blockchain, for example, right? So it's easy, and everyone is talking about the mass adoption that we need to integrate it to the traditional companies, to the and to Web2 companies. But I believe what stops them, it's basically two things: privacy and security.
Okay.
Because we can still see so many hacks being happening within the blockchain.
And it scares people. It scares people because you see every day millions and millions of dollars.
Imagine you've got a big corporate and then you need to put all your assets on blockchain, which is being hacked regularly.
And big actors, by the way, that's were hacked. And obviously there's been the debacle of FTX and exchanges. And when you see that, you're like, that's not an industry I want to build things in. And it takes, unfortunately, these things takes for the whole people building, and that's it's very difficult to see as people in the industry.
I mean, there is still a solution, and it might be the solution. And there are people who are building these solutions, but still these bottlenecks, right? These problems are existing. And the second one, of course, privacy. Privacy is, of course, if you act as a corporate, there are multiple things that you can't put on chain. The typical example, if you're paying the salary to your employees, and you can't showcase how much money you pay to all your employees, right? So that's why there should be some privacy layer. And in general, our strategy is to invest in the infrastructure which is built by Web3 founders to bridge the gap between Web2 and Web3 space.
Yes, right.
So that's why we invest in any type of toolings, blockchain-based SaaS solutions, like kind of middleware solutions, whatever. So because people need to use it at the end of the day, and there should be some customer layer. So I'm as a customer, but of course, like that's it's in general. But there are two sides. One is retail side. Then of course, like it should be super user friendly, UI UX.
UX very important.
It's very important.
Not only crypto, by the way, AI as well.
See, like people are asking, like, what do you think about ZK technology, right? Because ZK, all this L2, it's so complicated. But I mean, like, then any type of ZK technology aims to get on the proper layer 3, which is customer layer, then it's all good. Because basically you make technology more complicated to put a new super uncomplicated layer on top. If the major goal is like, if the main goal is like that, then it's good. We're happy to explore that. And at the end of the day, RWA, of course, like RWA, I've been exploring that a lot. There's
I know I know you've been like very. We used to have this discussion that you're not like a huge fan of going to events and all this BD work. You rather go to a hackathon and go for like discovering the tech and the innovation. I know you're very active on this side.
No, but I see the trend that there is a kind of war happening between project founders and VCs, because we can see lots of new VCs backed by founders. Successful founders. Like you launched your projects back to the day, you understand technology, and then you keep investing in something which makes sense for you. And that's this type of people. They say, like, if you're the VC, you're like care about like getting money from founders, about just the capital deployment. And I'm trying to break this misconception. That's why, like as you correctly mentioned, I'm going mostly to some developers conferences, trying to learn more about technology myself every day on a daily basis, because then you learn this, you understand how to use it, or at least you understand what you can do with this. So every single project we invest in is basically something long-term, where we have some strategic vision and we understand that, maybe in the future we can facilitate some great partnership for them, or collaboration, or bring them here to be the part of, upcoming like a massive Web3 ecosystem.
And also like just to jump on what you said, in terms of like the VC, the type of VCs, I've been working with in the fund of funds sphere, so like investing in VC funds. So I've seen different fund managers, and most of the time you see the big difference between, and it's not only in crypto, by the way, it's in venture capital in general, between the fund manager that is coming from a banking background or investment background, where they're looking for return on investment. And the tech is important, but they will hear more about like how the tech is incredible, but without really digging into the tech. Now I'm generalizing, but in general, it's what I've seen. While on the other side, you have the tech savvy, and sometimes that already funded a startup, and those guys have a completely different mindset. So that's why I always say that it's very interesting to have both of them. So then you can have a discussion internally when you have a fund, and say have someone that is from a banking background and say this is no return on investment on that. Okay, it's great tech, but what's the point to have a great tech if it's not scalable and there's no return on investment? I think it's good to have a middle ground, I'd say.
The great tech, what I usually say, like it doesn't matter how great tech you got, you need to be able to explain it to your mother, let's say so.
Or less than 60 seconds, that's what they say, I need 90 seconds, very simple.
So very simple. Because you can have the super high-tech project, but at least like, just the normal people who are not that much into the tech. So they need to understand at least like from the very overall perspective, what you're building.
But isn't it like, the tech, are we, because when we talk about blockchain, it's been here for a long time now. I mean, obviously the adoption of blockchain as a tool for decentralized application since 2014 with Ethereum, and it's still like we're still struggling a lot compared to, like, for example, the AI. It's a bubble that's happening now, but like the AI has been here for a long time. With AI, we see directly the adoption, and with blockchain, we see it's still hard. Is it, so we mentioned UX, is it a UX problem? or is it just that the technology is just like very hard to understand? Or
see, like the reason we are here in the bear market for that long, because there are multiple black swan events happened recently. So I believe that is that's what stops us from the rapid mass adoption. Like, you know, at least additionally, we discussed before like a few factors like privacy, security. Sometimes then it's another problem. It's this like famous you know, trilemma that Vitalik constantly talking about, like privacy, security, decentralization. So then you provide the proper UI UX, you need to sacrifice decentralization. Then it's like a pure decentralized, then it might be not secure, or it might be not that much user friendly. So that's exactly what we are. But no, there are multiple solutions. And once everything is connected together, because I believe why we invest in infrastructure, because at the end of the day, we need to connect everything that's been built and to provide some kind of framework for everything that's being built. So that's why people will know and they will use it. Now, the market itself is quite fragmental, in my opinion. So let's see how it goes.
But I'm just also jumping on what you said. You talked about the Black Swan event. Is there maybe also like one of the reasons why the adoption is so hard is maybe also because of the money component that you don't see in other industries?
These events, you know, I know like quite a few like big players in the UAE suffered a lot from FTX. And
a lot of institutions have been involved in FTX.
So see, like once you try, you need to be like a quite stubborn person to keep going. After you failed so many times.
A bit like MicroStrategy, for example, Michael Saylor. That is, people are saying, is this guy crazy? He's going back into Bitcoin. Now we see Bitcoin coming up. People are saying, oh, maybe MicroStrategy is right, because if you look at the return on investment they've done until now, Bitcoin coming up now, rallying these last days. I mean, you think about this guy. You're like, okay, you must really believe in that, right? Or ARK as well, that is also keep on investing. And I mean, now I'm touching Bitcoin, which is completely different. I mean, it's completely different. Use blockchain, but it's different than the apps we're talking about. But I think maybe also the money components, because and we talked about the US before, regulations. I think it's pretty difficult for the US to see the dollar losing a bit like a momentum. But everyone knows about that in crypto. And that's one of the reasons maybe why things are going slowly, because it's very the structural change of what blockchain can bring.
I mean, at the end of the day, there is a fifth industrial revolution happening, and this revolution can happen within the very short time frame, right? So maybe it's not the revolution, it's an evolution, but we still need to go through multiple periods of this evolution to get to the point where we all want to get to, you know.
And also one of the thing, maybe I feel like that before the revolutions were going in through government, but now I feel like revolutions are, maybe government are feeling that they're losing a bit there is the
whole concept of network state, right?
Exactly. So
that's exactly. So, but there is another interesting topic, is that we are basically like, you know, as an innovator, right? So I'm talking about like the Web3 community. There are so many talented people who are innovators, who got so much knowledge, and then they scale. So it's like an alternative movement to the traditional institutional players. So, and the way to push it forward, in my opinion, of course, it's not to compete with them, right? Saying like, we are the new movement there. We are
we're anti-anarchists.
No, but to collaborate. And if there is a collaboration happens, then there, you know, we can have the proper mass adoption of technology itself.
And something that's perfectly happening in the UAE. We're happy about that.
There is like, you know, one thing I usually tell about like UAE is that unlikely other country governments, regulators here and like the government here, like basically regulators, they are not afraid of trying. So because even if you fail, you gain experience, right? Because like, other countries like China, for
the startup
example,
maybe
you announce
mindset.
something, you just say, yeah, it might be good, but then you don't know what's the proper way to go forward, because maybe if you fail and if there will be the wrong movement, it will bring you back to the beginning. But here, I've been here from 2020. There are multiple initiatives happen here. Okay, if you fail, but you've gained the experience. Experience values a lot.
Yeah.
So the next step, you will succeed more. So that's why, like, even compare, like, you know, for me, Dubai and Abu Dhabi is like, Abu Dhabi is great. Like, they're like, it's a financial center.
Yes.
But the blockchain and Web3 initiative has just started there. Like, let's say last year they announced Hub 71.
Yeah.
And
I've been there actually. It's very well developed, and a lot of people working, like a lot of startups are actually developing.
So people started to go there.
Yeah.
But it's a growing community here in Dubai. 2012. The first time actually I came to Dubai, it was 2018, and I attended a few blockchain meetups, and then I saw local people. Even that time, they didn't understand anything. It was evident, but they came to meetups and they listened.
Yeah.
They tried to understand that time.
Yeah.
So, and right now, through all these multiple trials, we see the progress. It's not something that happens within a day or within a week or even within a year.
No, I guess maybe an open mindset as well, and maybe also like the startup mindset of like the startup or not startup, but business in general, the failure mindset that, you know, drives you through growth, and something that unfortunately like we're missing with crypto, at least right now in the US, unfortunately, but it used to be. I mean, the US were very similar to. I tend to sometimes really compare how the UAE is now and the US, you know, when there was like not obviously the gold rush at first, and people coming to the US to do business. You know, a lot of immigrants coming, a lot of like very like expat focused. Now people are American, but at first it was immigrants, and they were coming for a purpose. They were all coming for a purpose, and I feel it's what is happening here in the UAE. When I speak with people, a lot of people have ambitions, and that's why they're ready to fail or try things out.
Yes.
I think that's the big difference, and I think UAE is very similar to the US. But I think, I mean, as a last question, maybe I think it would be great to hear from you, you know, and a lot of our listeners are international, and you know, if a founder wants to come to Dubai, what would be, you know, like your advice, and what should they think about before doing the step, if they want to? Is it already like too crowded for them, or maybe like there's still a lot of place for them? What would be your advice for a founder?
No, my advice is basically to understand what you want, like, right? So, because I speak with lots of founders, and lots of them, they can't feel the proper market fit, right?
Yes.
So then you understand what is your market. If you explore the market itself and you understand that product that you're building, it's really good for the UAE market, then of course, you can come here, you can explore multiple opportunities. As I told like you before, all these free zones, it provides you the choice, right? But of course you need to have the strategy in mind. What do you want to achieve? What is your goal?
Of course.
Do you have the product like for this market? Or because lots of people unfortunately come here driven by their financial goal. They say, okay, there is capital in the UAE, and I will come here and I will fundraise a lot of money from this like local.
And not only startups, by the way, funds as well. A lot of funds
everyone
are coming to try to find money.
I mean, to be honest, people do invest. And like traditional players, they do invest, but you know, they are not stupid to invest in something which they don't understand. So you need to explain why your technology or your product it's perfectly fit for the local market. If you're able to do this, you're welcome. Of course, there is like no more. Okay, we are just at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard to say. Yeah, it's hard to say that. Okay, it's super crowded. No, it's not crowded because we are still at the beginning.
All right, perfect. But I mean, thank you so much for the advice. I think it's I think it's great to have your voice here on the podcast. Thank you so much again for taking the time. Very happy to have you.
It was a pleasure to chat with you today.
And maybe I see you later at some events in Dubai.
Sure, I believe we will meet again in Dubai somewhere.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beyond the Check is brought to you by Block Sapiens, a leader in fund and venture capital investment. If you've enjoyed this show, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Learn more at blocksapiens.io. While we take reasonable care to select recognized experts for our podcast, please know that each podcast represents the independent opinion of such experts only and not Block Sapiens. We make no warranty, guarantee, or representation as to the accuracy or sufficiency of the information provided. Any reliance on the podcast information is at your own risk. The podcast is for general information only and cannot be considered legal or professional advice.